What kind of person lies about their job to scam a small business, only to get caught in their own web of deceit? Karen Mitchell did exactly that, striding into Bella's home decor with a swagger that screamed confidence but hid a darker motive. Her broad frame filled the doorway, her voice booming as she declared herself a professional interior decorator, working on a high-end project. The shop assistant, Emily, barely 22 and new to the job, felt her stomach twist at Karen's demanding tone. Karen's face, flushed with arrogance, bore a smirk that made Emily's skin crawl. She waved a sketch of a window, claiming it was for a client's mansion, and insisted on custom-made window shades, expensive ones, hand-stitched with imported fabric. Emily, eager to please, scribbled down measurements Karen rattled off with unsettling precision. 72 inches wide, 84 inches long, no margin for error. The order was placed, the deposit paid, and Karen left with a promise to return in 2 weeks. Emily couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, but she brushed it aside, chalking it up to her inexperience. Little did she know Karen's client was a fiction, and the measurements were a trap. The shop hummed with its usual rhythm, locals browsing curtains, the soft clink of coins at the register, but Emily's unease lingered. She double-checked the order form, her pen hovering over Karen's numbers. Had she heard them correctly? The fabric, a luxurious silk, cost a fortune, and Bella, the shop's owner, had warned her about costly mistakes. Emily's fingers trembled as she called the supplier to confirm the order. The supplier's voice was casual, almost bored, as they repeated the measurements back. 72 by 84, just as Karen had demanded. Emily hung up, her heart still racing. She didn't know Karen had spent weeks researching local businesses, targeting Bella's for its reputation and small staff. Karen's plan was simple: order custom shades, claim they were wrong, and demand a refund while keeping the goods. It was a scam she'd pulled before in other towns under other names. But this time she'd underestimated her mark. 2 weeks later, Karen stormed back into the shop, her face a mask of outrage. The shades, delivered to her rundown apartment, not a mansion, were completely wrong, she bellowed. Emily, behind the counter, froze as Karen slammed the shades onto the counter, the silk glinting under the shop's fluorescent lights. "These are too short," Karen shrieked, her voice drawing stares from 2 customers near a rack of throw pillows. Emily's cheeks burned as she stammered an apology, offering to check the order. Karen's eyes gleamed with triumph, given measurements for windows that didn't exist, expecting to pocket the shades and a refund. But Emily, though shaken, noticed something odd. The shades matched the order form exactly. She pulled out the paperwork, her hands steadying as she read the numbers aloud. Karen's smirk faltered, just for a second, but she doubled down, accusing Emily of forging the form. The accusation hit like a slap, and Emily's voice wavered as she called Bella from the back. Bella, a wiry woman in her 50s with a no-nonsense air, emerged wiping her hands on an apron. She listened as Karen ranted, her voice rising with each exaggerated gesture. Bella's eyes narrowed, catching the inconsistencies in Karen's story. The mansion had no address, the client had no name, and Karen's sketch of the window looked suspiciously like a stock image printed from the internet. Bella's years of running the shop had honed her instincts for liars, and Karen was ringing every alarm. She asked Karen to provide proof of her decorating business, a license, a website, anything. Karen's face reddened, her excuses stumbling over each other. She claimed her website was under construction, and her license was in the mail. Bella's lips pressed into a thin line. She suggested they measure the shades together, right there, to settle the dispute. Karen hesitated, her confidence cracking, but agreed, sensing she was still in control. As Bella pulled out a measuring tape, the shop's atmosphere thickened with tension. The 2 customers, now openly watching, whispered to each other. Emily's heart pounded. She wanted to believe she'd done her job right, but doubt gnawed at her. Bella measured the shades slowly, deliberately, announcing each inch. 72 inches wide, 84 inches long, she said, her voice calm but firm. The numbers matched the order perfectly. Karen's face twisted, her voice rising to a near scream as she insisted the shades were useless for her client's windows. Bella, unfazed, asked for the client's contact information to verify the issue. Karen's eyes darted to the door, her plan unraveling. She hadn't expected Bella's quiet strength or Emily's meticulous records. The scam, so carefully planned, was teetering on the edge of exposure. Then came the twist. Emily, still clutching the order form, noticed a faint watermark on Karen's Sketcha logo from a popular design app, one that offered free templates. Her breath caught as she realized Karen's professional sketch was a fake, downloaded and printed to bolster her lie. Emily's voice, usually soft, cut through the shop as she pointed out the watermark. The customers gasped, their whispers turning to murmurs of disbelief. Karen's face drained of color, her hands clenching into fists. She hadn't anticipated Emily's sharp eyes or the watermark's betrayal. Bella seized the moment, calmly asking Karen to leave or face a call to the police for fraud. Karen's bluster crumbled, but she wasn't done fighting, not yet. She grabbed the shades, claiming they were hers since she'd paid the deposit, and stormed toward the door. Bella's hand shot out, blocking her path, her voice low but fierce. Not so fast. The shop fell silent, the air heavy with the weight of Bella's words. Karen's eyes widened, her grip on the shades tightening as she faced Bella's unyielding stare. The two customers, now rooted to the spot, watched as the confrontation teetered on the edge of chaos. Emily, still clutching the order form with its damning watermark, felt a surge of courage. She stepped forward, her voice steadier than before, and repeated Bella's demand. "You need to leave those shades here, Karen. They were made to your exact specifications." Karen's sneer returned, but it was shaky, her confidence eroding under the scrutiny of 3 pairs of eyes. She snapped that she'd sue, that Bella's pathetic little shop would regret crossing her. But Bella, calm as ever, pulled out her phone and began dialing the local police. Karen's bravado faltered. She hadn't expected the threat of legal action to come so swiftly. Bella's call connected, and she spoke clearly, describing Karen's attempt to defraud the shop. Karen's face contorted with rage, but there was nowhere to run. The shades, still in her hands, felt like a lead weight now, evidence of her lie. She dropped them on the counter with a thud, spitting insults at Bella and Emily, calling them small-time nobodies who'd never understand her business. The customers, emboldened by Bella's resolve, began murmuring their support for the shop. One, a middle-aged woman with a kind face, spoke up. "You should be ashamed, trying to scam honest people." Karen whirled on her, but the woman didn't flinch, her words striking a nerve. Karen's plan hadn't accounted for witnesses, let alone ones who'd call her out. As the police arrived, 2 officers stepping through the shop's jingling door, Karen's defiance collapsed into desperation. She tried to spin a new story, claiming she'd been misunderstood, that the shades were for her own home, not a client's. But the officers, after hearing Bella's account and seeing the watermark on the sketch, weren't buying it. They asked for Karen's ID, their voices polite but firm. Karen fumbled in her purse, her hands shaking, and produced a driver's license that listed an address far from any mansion. The officers exchanged a glance, one jotting notes as Bella explained the scam. The fake measurements, the non-existent client, the attempt to keep the shades and demand a refund. Emily handed over the order form, her heart swelling with pride as she realized she'd caught Karen's lie before it could hurt the shop. The officers questioned Karen further, their tone growing sharper as her story unraveled. She'd done this before, they suspected, and a quick check on their system confirmed it. Karen Mitchell had a history of petty fraud, complaints filed in 2 other counties for similar scams. The revelation hit the shop like a thunderclap. Emily's jaw dropped, and even Bella, usually stoic, raised an eyebrow. The customers, now openly indignant, whispered about justice being served. Karen's face, once so smug, was now a mask of panic. She begged the officers to let her go, promising to pay for the shades and leave. But Bella shook her head, her voice steady. "You tried to ruin my business. You don't get to walk away." The officers agreed, informing Karen she'd be charged with attempted fraud and theft. As they led her to the patrol car, Karen's shoulders slumped, her earlier arrogance replaced by defeat. The shades, still on the counter, seemed to mock her, a tangible reminder of her failed scheme. Emily watched, her relief tempered by a pang of pity. Karen wasn't a master criminal, just a woman who thought she could bully her way to easy money. But that pity faded as Emily remembered the stress Karen had caused, the hours she'd spent doubting herself, the fear that she'd cost Bella's shop thousands. Bella put a hand on Emily's shoulder, her voice soft but firm. "You did good, kid. You caught her." Emily smiled, a weight lifting from her chest. The customers, now chatting warmly with Bella, praised her for standing up to Karen. The shop felt alive again, its warmth returning as the patrol car drove away. But the story didn't end there. Word of Karen's scam spread through town, carried by the customers who'd witnessed the showdown. Bella's home decor became a local legend, a place where honesty triumphed over deceit. Emily, once unsure of her place in the shop, found her confidence growing. She started taking on bigger responsibilities, even helping Bella design a new line of custom shades, ones that sold out within weeks. The shop's reputation soared, drawing customers from neighboring towns who wanted to support a business that stood its ground. Karen, meanwhile, faced more than just legal consequences. Her name became synonymous with fraud. Her social media accounts flooded with comments calling out her lies. She'd wanted quick cash, but she'd lost far more: her credibility, her freedom, and any chance of pulling the same stunt again. Months later, Bella's shop was thriving, its windows adorned with vibrant displays that drew passers-by. Emily, now a trusted manager, greeted customers with a warmth that masked the steel she discovered within herself. The memory of Karen's scam lingered, but it was a story of victory, not victimhood. Bella often told it at local business meetings, using it to warn others about fraud while praising Emily's quick thinking. The community rallied around the shop, their support a reminder that trust, once earned, was stronger than any lie. Karen, out on bail awaiting trial, had vanished from town, her apartment empty, her schemes exposed. Rumors swirled that she'd moved to another state, but no one cared enough to follow up. Her downfall was a lesson, one that echoed beyond the shop's walls. Emily, reflecting on that day, realized it had changed her. She'd been timid, afraid of making mistakes, but catching Karen's lie had shown her she was capable of more. She enrolled in a design course, her passion for decor ignited by the very shades that had nearly cost the shop everything. Bella, proud as a mentor could be, gave her a raise and a promise. "This shop's yours one day, if you want it." Emily's eyes welled up, not from fear this time, but from hope. She saw a future where she could create beauty, not just sell it, and where honesty would always win. The customers who'd witnessed the confrontation became regulars, their loyalty a testament to the shop's resilience. One even brought Emily a sketch of her own, a real one, for real windows asking for shades like the ones that had exposed Karen. The legal system moved slowly, but Karen's case was airtight. The watermark, the order form, the witnesses all pointed to her guilt. When her trial came, Bella and Emily testified, their voices clear and unwavering. The judge, unimpressed by Karen's tearful apologies, sentenced her to restitution and community service, a punishment that stung more than jail would have. Karen's name was mud, her scams a cautionary tale for others. Bella's shop, meanwhile, became a symbol of standing firm, of fighting for what's right. The shades, once a tool of deception, were donated to a local shelter, their silk catching the light in windows that welcomed those in need. Emily smiled every time she passed the shelter, knowing those shades had found a better purpose. Looking back, Emily saw the deeper lesson. Truth has a way of rising, no matter how cleverly a lie is spun. Karen's arrogance had blinded her to the strength of a small shop, its people, its community. Emily carried that lesson forward, sharing it with new hires, with friends, with anyone who'd listen. She learned that courage isn't loud or showy, it's the quiet resolve to do what's right, even when it's hard. Bella's shop wasn't just a business. It was a place where trust was built, where lies were exposed, and where people like Emily could grow into their own strength. The story of Karen's scam wasn't just about a failed knit, was about the power of honesty, the resilience of a community, and the triumph of those who refused to be bullied. As Emily hung a new display in the shop's window, she felt a spark of pride. She'd faced a storm and come out stronger, ready to build a future where truth, not deceit, would always light the way.